Hey, welcome. So what if I told you that in literally the next 5 minutes, you could learn to read a brand new alphabet? I'm serious. Today, we're going to unlock Hangul, the Korean alphabet, and trust me, it's one of the most logical systems in the world. Ready to crack the code? Let's jump right in.
Okay, take a look at this word on your screen. Right now, it probably just looks like a bunch of cool shapes and lines, right? Kind of like a secret code. But what if it's a word you probably say, or at least hear, every single day?
And that's not a guess, that's a promise. By the time we're done here, you are absolutely going to be able to read that word and a whole lot more. You're just a few minutes away from figuring this all out.
So, where do we start? Well, with the absolute core of any language, the vowels. These are the sounds that carry the tune, and in Korean, they are just beautifully simple. Here they are, the 10 basic vowels. You've got simple sounds like a, o, and e. The really cool thing, and we're going to get to this in a sec, is how they're all made from just a few straight lines. Don't even worry about memorizing them all right now. Just kind of get a feel for the sounds as we go.
But check this out, there's a hidden logic here. Did you see the pattern? Look at the A sound. Add one tiny extra stroke, and boom, it becomes ya. The exact same thing happens with EO becoming yo and O becoming yo. It's a system. One little stroke adds a ya sound. How cool is that?
And hey, here's a fantastic little shortcut for you. Some of these vowels that look a bit more complex, well, in modern Korean, they sound exactly the same. So take these two right here. They are both pronounced simply as e, so you don't need to stress about any tiny differences. Easy, right?
Okay, so we have our vowel sounds, but sounds need shape, right? That's where the consonants come in. Let's see how these building blocks work.
Now, this is where Hangul gets really brilliant. The consonants often come in families. So get this first group. We have a soft g sound. Add just one little stroke, and you get an airy, breathy k sound. Double up that first one, and you get a hard, tense g sound. And this pattern just keeps going. You see it with the D/T family too. D, t, and d. It's such a logical progression of sound. Now, for the rest of our crew, the foundational consonants. We've got this one, which is n. The little square shape, that's an M. This one here is an S sound. And finally, this guy, which is a sound somewhere between an R and an L. These are your other core pieces of the puzzle.
All right, you're going to want to pay close attention to this next character. Think of it like a chameleon. When it comes at the beginning of a syllable, before a vowel, it's totally silent. This is just a placeholder. But, and this is key, when you see it at the end of a syllable, it makes that sound, like in the word sing. This is one of the most important rules you got to remember.
Okay, so we've got our vowels, we've got our consonants. Now for the magic trick. How do they actually stick them together to make words?
See, unlike English, where we just write letters one after another in a big long line, Korean takes its letters and assembles them into these neat little squares. Each one of those squares, or blocks, stands for one single syllable. It's what makes Korean look so clean and organized on the page.
And the formula for building a basic block couldn't be simpler. You always start with a consonant, then you just add a vowel right next to it, or maybe below it. It just depends on the vowel's shape. And that's it. You combine them into one visual block. Consonant plus vowel equals a syllable.
And there you have it. A syllable block is just one little box for one syllable of sound. The golden rule is that every single block has to have at least one consonant and one vowel. And that's exactly why we need our silent placeholder for words that start with a vowel sound. See how it all connects?
Okay, you've pretty much mastered the basics of building these blocks. But there is one more layer to this, and it really unlocks your reading ability. It's called the bachim, or the final consonant.
So every now and then, a syllable block will have a third letter just tucked in at the very bottom. That's the final consonant. And this is another piece of Hangul's genius efficiency. But there's a tiny twist. A consonant sound can sometimes change when it's sitting in this final spot. But don't worry, it's not random at all. The rules are actually super simple. A whole bunch of different consonants all get simplified down to just a few sounds when they're at the bottom of a block. For instance, g, k, and gug all just make a hard k sound at the end. And an entire group of other letters all just simplify to a clean t sound. And a couple more both simplify to a p sound. It's a massive shortcut.
And that's it. You now have all the tools. You know the vowels, you know the consonants, you know how to build the blocks, and you know the final consonant rule. There's only one thing left to do. Let's actually read something. Remember this guy from the beginning? Let's break it down. The first block has M plus O. Together, that's mo.
The second block has N plus E with our little chameleon friend at the bottom, which now makes an NG sound. So that's ning. Put it all together. Mo-ning. Morning! You just did it. You read your first Korean word.
Let's try a famous name. First block, we see a J sound plus an E sound. That's G. Second block combines an M sound plus an E sound with a final N at the bottom. That's Min. And you get Jimin from BTS. How about another one? Here we have a J sound plus the E vowel, making the sound Je. The second block is super simple. N plus E, which is just ni. You've just read Jenny from Blackpink. See? It's all just putting the same pieces together every time. And this system, it works for pretty much any name. Look here. This first one is Nick Cole or Nicole. The next one is Siu Tibaun, Stephen. And this last one is Emma, Emma. Once you know the rules, you can sound out almost anything.
So, now the question is for you. Based on all the sounds we just learned, how would you piece together the blocks to write your own name in Hangul? Go on, give it a try.
And just like that, you've done it. In literally a handful of minutes, you've learned the basic principles of Hangul, which is famous among linguists as one of the most scientific and logical alphabets ever made. What looked like a secret code 5 minutes ago is now something you can actually read. Seriously? Congratulations.